Hello and welcome to yet another tutorial by Davies Media Design. My name is Michael Davies and today I'm going to be showing you guys a pretty quick tutorial on how to replace the sky in your image. As you can see here, I have an image that has a nice blue sky with some clouds here. It's nice and bright, but the original image actually looked like this, so it was an overcast day and the clouds were pretty gray, and so sometimes you just want to replace the sky here, and this is the image that I use. This is a free stock image and I just added our original image on top of it. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how to do that today. But of course, before we get started today, I want to direct you guys over to my website, daviesmediadesign.com/tutorials. We've got tons of video and text tutorials on here. You can also enroll in our GIMP photo editing course from beginner to pro photo retoucher. And our course has been named a highest rated course on Udemy, so thanks for everybody who's reviewed our course and enrolled in the course. And I'll include a link to this course as well as other links for this tutorial in the description. So here's the stock image I used for this tutorial. I got it on Pexels, which is a free stock image website. I'll include a link to this in the description. But let's go ahead and get started here. So I'll go ahead and go to File, Open Recent, and I'm going to open my original image. And I'll include this image in the links. Because I used this recently, it wasn't File, Open, Recent, but you can just go to File, Open, and find the image on your computer, and then just click to open it into GIMP. So the first thing I did on this image was I rotated and cropped it. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my Rotate tool, and I'm going to click and drag up on my image, and this is going to rotate our image a little bit. And then once I have the angle I want, I'll just go ahead and click Rotate. And now after the rotation, you'll see that some of the background here is starting to show through, and obviously we don't want that. So I'll go ahead and grab my crop tool and I'm going to click and drag this, and my goal of doing this is to crop out those transparency background areas that are peeking through. So you'll see I'm trying to keep the boundary of my crop above the transparency areas, so I'll go ahead and move this one down, and that looks pretty good. So I'll just double click and that'll go ahead and crop out those transparency areas. Now real quick, you might want to check that this has a transparency and just right click on the layer, and if add alpha channel isn't grayed out like this, that means that there isn't any transparency on the image. So go ahead and click on that, and that'll add transparency to the background. Now once you've done that, go ahead and grab your zoom tool and zoom in a little bit, and then grab your lasso tool or the free select tool. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and select my area that I want to erase, and because I don't want this tree in here, or I don't really care if the tree's in there, I'm actually just going to crop that out. But I'm going to go ahead and change the mode here, make sure it's set to replace the current selection, and then I'm going to draw and outline this, and I'm going to do this pretty quickly because I know a lot of you guys have already seen tutorials on how to remove a background, and this is kind of the same concept. But I'm just clicking to create nodes, and then I'm connecting the last node here, and then I'll press enter, and that's going to create a selection area. Alright, so there's a few parts in here that obviously didn't make it in that should make it in, like the roof of the building here. So I'm going to go ahead and change my mode to subtract from the current selection, and I'm just going to take out this part here because there's too much of the roof that is included. And so I'm just drawing a triangle here and hitting enter, and you're just going to want to keep doing this until basically you get all the parts out of this selection area. So you'll see that I went ahead and got rid of some of the roof right here that was being included in the selection area. And then I'll grab my zoom tool again and go ahead and zoom in here. There's a few areas right here that have some sky in there that need to be added to the selection area. So I'll grab my free select tool again, change the mode to add to current selection, and then go ahead and draw in these shapes right here. And then I'm clicking and dragging right there, and then I release my mouse and I'm connecting that last point, and I'll hit enter, and now this area has been added. And then I'll do the same here. Click enter, and now that area has been added, and I can grab the subtract from current selection tool if I added too much here. Enter. And then there's a couple more areas, so I'm just going to change the mode back to add to current selection again, and just add in this part right here because there is a decent amount of sky that's getting left out. And then just connect and hit enter, and then I'll do the same here hit enter. Alright, and so that's good enough for now. Again, I didn't want to spend too much time on that because I know a lot of you guys know how to erase an image background. Now, I recommend going ahead and duplicating this bottom layer just in case. So I duplicated the layer, and we can name this, I'll double click, main image, and then main image copy. And I'll go ahead and hide that main image layer underneath. And so now what I want to do is go ahead and delete this sky. So all I got to do is hit the delete key, and that is going to get rid of the sky. And if you want to save this selection area for later, let's say in case you mess up or for whatever reason you need the same exact selection area later, you can come over to your Paths dialog here, and you can go to Windows, Dockable Dialogues, and choose Paths if you don't see it right now, and it should pop up in one of these dockable dialog areas. And then come over here, and right here this says Selection to Path, and go ahead and click that, and that will create a path based on the selection area you just drew. So you can always come back and use that later if you need to. I'll come back here to my Layers dialog, and now I'll go to Select None, and so now you see that this has no sky here. And now I'm going to come over here to our sky image, and I'll go to Edit, Copy. Come over here and go to Edit, Paste. And you'll see that our sky image is a lot smaller than our image that we're using. So I'll go Control Z, and I'm actually going to just scale this real quick. So I'll go to Image, Scale Image, and the file size of the sky that I downloaded is about 1920 by 1080, I believe. So I'll just change this to 1920, hit the tab key, and because this is locked, this will automatically adjust. And I'll go ahead and hit scale. And now our image is scaled down a little bit, and I'll go ahead and zoom in with my zoom tool. Alright, so now I can go ahead and Control V to paste that sky in again, and now you'll see the sky image is big enough to cover the areas that we need. It's pasted as a floating selection right now, and you'll see in GIMP 2.10 this lights up with some options you can choose for the floating selection. I'm going to go ahead and put this on its own new layer. So I just click to create a new layer, and then I'm going to move this layer below our layer that has the sky deleted from it. And then with that sky layer still selected, and I'll actually just change this to sky, go ahead and grab your move tool, and then you can reposition the sky until you get the area of sky that you want on here. And so I'll just go ahead with this right here. And the last thing we're going to do is we want to adjust the colors of our foreground object here, the building, so that it matches basically the colors and the brightness of the sky. And so I'll start by going to Colors, Curves, and I've just made some adjustments here to my curves to add some contrast to the image and brighten it up a little bit so you can see it before and after. And all I did was create points on the curve here, and then drag this part of the curve down, and then drag this part of the curve up a little bit, and that creates an S curve. Now go ahead and click OK, and that's looking a little better, but now we want to just adjust the colors a little bit. So I'll go to Colors, Color Balance, and I've got my settings here already, but I've just added a little bit of red here using this slider to our highlights. I don't want to add too much, and I've taken away some of the blues here. And then on the midtones, I've added some reds, and I've added some magenta and added some yellow. And then in the shadows, added some reds, added some green, and added some yellows here, so you can match my settings if you'd like. And I can toggle the preview here so you can see it before and after. And now it looks a little brighter, so it looks like it's a slightly brighter day. So I'll hit OK. And the last thing I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of saturation. So I'll go to Colors, Saturation, and this is kind of optional, but this is just increasing the intensity of some of the colors in the image here. And so you could see here's a before and here's an after. So it just makes the brightness of the building match the brightness of the sky. And I'll go ahead and click OK. And now you can see here is a before. So it's a pretty dreary looking day, overcast, not a ton of light. And then here's after. We've changed it so that now it looks like a sunny day and a nice bright blue sky. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/daviesmediadesign. You can also check out our website at daviesmediadesign.com/tutorials. And of course, you can enroll in our GIMP photo editing course from beginner to pro photo retoucher. And I'll include a link to that, as well as all of the other relevant links to this tutorial in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.